So Golan, are you telling me that the way that Judaism is practiced today around the world and for centuries is a rabbinic invention?
That's exactly what I'm telling you, but I'm not the only one who's telling you. Professor Daniel Boyarin, a religious Jew, mind you, is saying that the Judaism as we know it, rabbinic Judaism, wasn't invented before the 1st century AD.
Wow.
Now he says also, it was invented on the backdrop or as an opposition, as a reaction to Messianic Judaism, which came first. And that's why when people tell me, Golan, go back to the roots, go back to rabbinic Judaism, I say, no, you want me to go back to the roots? The roots are Messianic Judaism.
Which, and all of this flies in direct contradiction to the unbroken chain of the oral law.
So that's another brilliant invention that the rabbis had to make. Why? Because this professor, the same professor, Boyarin, is saying that both Judaisms, Messianic one and rabbinic one, both of them has the concept of the logos, the word, in the center of the religion practice. Now he said Messianic Jews made, the logos became flesh. So for Messianic Jews, the logos is the Messiah.
Okay.
For the oral law, for rabbinic Judaism,
John 1.
Exactly, but for rabbinic Judaism, Boyarin says they also believe in the logos, but their logos became the oral law. That's why I always say, every Jew alive today has to pick, has to choose from only two New Testaments, either the Messianic New Testament or the rabbinic New Testament.
That makes sense. In Jeremiah was 31, God promised he will make a new covenant. With the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Not like the covenant that they made with their fathers.
Exactly. And
so when the new covenant comes, it has to be either the new covenant that Yeshua, that Jesus brought in.
Exactly.
Or the oral law.
And I have a challenge. If we have any Jewish viewers, I have a challenge for you. Open the Old Testament, read it through until the end, and then open the New Testament and the Mishnah, the earliest writings of the rabbis, and see what is the most natural or supernatural continuum of the Old Testament? Who continues the narrative of the Old Testament? Because it has a narrative. It's not just a book of laws, the Old Testament.
Yeah.
It has a narrative which points to somebody or to something. Which testament, which New Testament, the Messianic one, the New Testament, or the Mishnah, continues the flow of the Old Testament?
Because there's a wonderful flow from Genesis, from Breshit, all the way through to the last book of the Old Testament, which is Haggai.
Haggai or Malachi.
Or Malachi.
Yep.
Sorry.
But this is exactly what Bible scholars are saying. They're saying the Torah is not a book of laws. The Torah is a book of narrative which has laws in it.
Right.
But if it's a book of narrative, it points to something beyond the Torah itself. And that's the biggest issue with the rabbinic Judaism. Rabbinic Judaism says the Torah is the end. The purpose of the Torah is the Torah.
Is the Torah, is the law.
Now, Bible scholars and Messianic Jews say the Torah is wonderful, is holy, but it has a purpose outside of itself. And the purpose is Yeshua himself.
Wow. And it leads directly into that from the last book of the Old Testament to the first book of the New Testament.
If you read Malachi, the prophet Malachi, and then you read the first gospel, and scholars believe the first gospel is Mark, you see Mark is quoting Malachi and saying it was fulfilled. He came, he is here, and he's the Messiah.
So this is why we need to question the roots of our Judaism, the roots of our faith. So thank you, Golan, and if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be the first to know when new videos come out. And leave your comments down below. Thank you for watching. God bless you all.
Amen.